All right, it's your old pal, Mr. Cook. Let's finish up these videos. Let's do number 9. A 90% antifreeze solution is to be mixed with a 75% solution to make 120 liters of a 78% solution. So, how many liters of the 90% and the 75% solutions will be used? Okay, so here's the idea. It's like you've got like a big vat of stuff, okay, and you're pouring like two different amounts of stuff into the vat. All right. So like amount X and amount Y. Okay. So it's like pouring in there. And the total amount that you're pouring in, right? Like, so you have like a 90% antifreeze solution. So let's call that like the X one is 90% of antifreeze. And then the other mix is 75% of antifreeze. So if you like pour them in together, one's higher than 75, one's lower than 90. So the result is going to be somewhere in the middle of 78 and 90. And in fact, it's like in the middle of it, 78%. So this thing is going to be 78%, of the solution, right? Because like this one's really high, this one's considerably lower. So the result that you pour in is going to be like, somewhere in the middle. So they tell us the total amount that's going to be in there. There's going to be 120 liters in there. Okay. So that's like the total amount of liters that you get from Y and the total amount that you get from X. If I add those together, so that's one equation. If I take the total amount of antifreeze that I pour in from X and the total amount that I pour in from Y, it's going to give me 120 liters. Okay. In there. Next is like how much of it is actually antifreeze. Like X is 90% antifreeze. So if I take X and multiply it by 90% or 0.9, right? And if I take the amount that I'm pouring in of Y, and that's 75%, so 75% of the amount that I pour in from Y is going to be antifreeze. Then if I add those two together, it's going to be a 78% solution, of antifreeze. So it's going to be 78% of that 120 liters is going to be antifreeze. So 0.78 times 120. Okay, so this is how we create the system of equations just from that. Like this first equation is how much of each of the of the solutions is pouring in. What's the total going to be? Okay, that's one equation. The other equation, what you do is you find out how much of it is actually antifreeze. Well, that's where the percentages come in handy. So the percentage of X, 90% in this case, it gives you the amount of antifreeze that's in there. 75%, so that percentage amount of Y is going to tell you how much antifreeze from the Y solution is in there. And then 78% of the total, 120, is going to give you the total amount of antifreeze in there. So we can mess with these numbers just a little bit to make things simpler. I can multiply these two together. So if I use my calculator, let's see what we get with that. 0.78 times 120, I get 93.6. So I can just replace that with a 93.6. And then this is just like a regular old simple system of equations, right? Okay, so how do I want to do this? Let's see. I think I'd probably use substitution. I'd get like one of either the X or the Y all by themselves in there. We have to find like how many liters of each is in there. So solving for either variable is fine. Let's start writing up our solution. Okay, so let's like define our variables. X is the amount of liters of the 90% solution. And then Y is going to be the amount of liters of the 75% solution. All right, so let's see what that's going to look like. And I need to make sure that looks like a 75, not a 78. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Let's solve for X from that equation. So let's get X by itself. X equals 120 minus Y. All right, so this X is the same as this one, so I'm going to plug it in there. So I get 0.9 times X, which is that 120 minus Y, plus 75% Y, so 0.75 Y equals 93.6. So let's distribute the 0.9. So I'd use my calculator for that. Let's see what's 0.9 times 120, 108. So I get 108 minus 0.9Y. plus 0.75y equals 93.6. So then combine like terms. Let's combine these two together. Negative 0.9y plus 0.75y. Well, 0.75 minus 0.9 is going to be a negative 0.15y. Then I saw that 108 equals 93.6. So if I subtract 108 from both sides, maybe, let's see what we get. So 93.6 minus 108, I would get negative 14.4. And then if I divide both sides by negative 0.15, I would get my y value. Let's see what it's going to be equal to. Hopefully it's not too bad of like an approximate number. So divide by negative 0.15. Oh, cool. I get 96 on the dot. So 96. So y is 96 liters. And then I've got this really nice equation over here that can solve x in terms of y. So x is equal to 120 minus 96, which I'm saying that's 24. So 24 liters for that one. And just like that, I've got my solutions. All right, so that's number 9. Let's take a look at number 10. Make a little room here. All right, let's see what we got. Mary has twice as much money invested at 5% simple annual interest as she does at 4%. You need to know a little bit about like interest and stuff and how investments work to answer this question. If her yearly income from these two investments is $350, how much does she have invested in each one? So let's start writing up our variables at the end. Let's say that A is the amount of money invested at 5%. And let's say that B is equal to the amount of money invested at 4%. All right, let's see what we get here. So Mary has twice as much money invested at 5% simple annual interest as she does at 4%. So that tells me that like the amount of money that she has invested at 5%, so A, is twice as much as B. So if I multiply B by 2, that'll give me A. Okay. That's how I get my first equation. It's really that easy. And then if her yearly income from the two investments is $350, so here's how you get income from the investments. If I took the amount of money that I had invested at 5%, okay, so that amount, and I multiplied it by the 5%, that's how much money that I gain at the end of the year, okay? So like if I had $1,000, let's say, and I had it invested at 5%, then I multiply by 0.05, and I think that I'd get like $50 because I multiply those two numbers together. So I get $50 extra at the end. So I don't know what A is, but that's how I'd figure out how much money I get from that particular investment. I do the same thing with B. So I take B, I'd multiply it by 4%, so 0.04. And that would give me, the total from B. And if I added those two together, that's how much I get, at the end, $350. All right, so this is a system of equations. Yeah, it's using decimals, big deal. And I've already solved for one of the variables in terms of the other. A is equal to 2B. So I can replace that A right here with 2B. So I'm going to replace that A with 2B. So I get 0.05 times 2B plus 0.04 times B, and that's going to be $350. So let's see what we get. 2 times 0.05, I'm going to say that that's 0.1 now, 10%. And if I combine like terms, 0.1 plus 0.04 gives me 0.14B. Okay, so let's get B all by itself. Let's divide both sides. So we get B is equal to how much? How much is B going to be worth? 350. Let's do our calculator. 350 divided by 0.14. Okay, $2,500. So that's the amount that I have invested in account B, which is at 4%, $2,500. And then I go over to my really nice equation, this one. And to find A, it's going to be 2 times that amount that I have in B, so 2,500. And 2 times 2,500 gives me 5,000. So $5,000 in the other one. And then you can go back and double check. You can plug your amount that you had in for A here, amount B here, and you should get 350. Okay, that is the last one, from the word problems. And then I'll take up the graphing in the next one because it's kind of a bit different. So let's end this video and then we'll do one more. Okay, see you then.